didn't realize that the body is the subconscious.
The body is subconscious.
Your body is your subconscious. Your subconscious is taking in, I think it's like 11 million impressions in a minute, and
Wow.
your mind is getting 50. You know, like, so, I mean, it picks up everything. So that is exactly right. And so, but when you're realizing that, like, and then this is kind of getting in the woo of metaphysics and belief systems that I can't back up necessarily with science, but unless depending on where you're like, how woo do you want to get on your science? But, you know, assuming that you have a soul that existed before you're born, and that soul will exist after you die. Right. So there's an everlasting part of you. That's your higher self, or whatever, super conscious or whatever. And that soul chooses a body to become you. Right. If your soul had chosen my body, it would be different. Right. Or vice versa, or each other, you know, if you chose in each other's body. And so when you start thinking about that, and one of the 5 reasons why bad things happen is subconscious sabotage. Right. And it's when your body is not in alignment with what's going on.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's really important to start understanding, like, okay, if you're subconscious, your body, then it lives on this physical world. It lives by the rules of this physical world. It's where genetic memory and all of that come into play, right? It's where all the family, you choose that body for a reason, for lots of lessons and things like that. You chose that family, you chose that whole situation. So when you're making a wish, it's really important that all 3 selves are in alignment and being served by the wish.
So how do you do that? How do you get all 3 in alignment?
That's a good question.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, first is to get to know your body, right? To really make friends. And that's where your other guests kind of ventured into this. And this is where you kind of brought up, Karen, this whole idea of like your body is a separate entity. And I do talk about that in my first book. That's really important. In fact, there's a religion called the Huna religion. I don't know if you know about that, but it's basically the same 3 selves kind of framework. They suggest you name your body. So she is a different name than Karen. Well, your body, and you can't tell them what it is. They'll tell you, just so you know. Like, you can't say, well, I want my body's name to be this. No, it'll come, like, in fact, it's when your default mode network is going on, and I'll come back to that. But it'll come when you're in a shower or wake up or something. When you're not consciously thinking, your body will tell you their name. And I will tell you, though, I always like to give this warning, because I had a friend of mine, and I said, okay, you come up with your name of your body. And she came up, and I said, now, you have to listen to her. Like, once you open that dialogue, you have to listen. Because she called me, and about 2 weeks later, she's like, okay, something's going on. I know I locked my front door before I went to bed. And I woke up, and not only was the door unlocked, but it was open.
Ooh.
And she's like, I know I set my alarm, and my alarm's not set. I mean, your body will do things like that to get your attention.
Okay, that's obnoxious.
It's obnoxious to them if you're not listening. But they look at it like obnoxious, like, I'm trying to get your attention and you're not hearing.
Well, it's also
what do I have to do? Like, you know,
it's also a little scary, though, right? That you're not in control of your own actions at that point.
It just means that you have to be conscious. You have to make that relationship. The more you make that relationship with your body, like you said, you treat her like an entity or like a pet or something, which is so beautiful. In fact, the example that I give in the book, which I don't know if you saw this part, Will, but is, imagine you see your neighbor walking their dog and the dog runs off. What usually happens?
You freak out. You start running after it.
The neighbor chases after, yeah.
Yeah, chase after it, or you yell at it.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what we often do with our body.
Yeah.
Right? But instead of you go to the dog, hey, it's fun over here, the dog's going to go, yay, I'll go over there. Right?
Yeah, if you start running the opposite direction, the dog comes running.
Look over here. Or with a toddler, like they
Yeah.
start to fit, and they're like, yeah, but look, there's a dog out the window. The toddler snapped out of it. So it's about making friends. It's about making it fun. And there's some really interesting science about making it fun. So if your wish is fun, your body is going to be in alignment with it much more.